Today on Spiritual Awakening Radio, the Cosmic Conspiracy. Being a spiritual warrior in a world of illusion. Another installment of my Anurag Sagar Studies series. From time to time, I enjoy doing spiritual satsang talks based on the Anurag Sagar, Kabir's Ocean of Love, expressing solidarity with those over the centuries that have done the very same. The Anurag Sagar is a foundational text of the Sant tradition of India. Indeed, it is the most Gnostic of all books in the history of India. I'll explain what that means as you listen to today's program. It's a foundational text with a creation story, a description of how souls got into the predicament they are in this particular matrix of creation, and the path of liberation, returning to our true spiritual state once again. And I suppose that's why it's a popular book, because it addresses all of those pressing issues. The Cosmic Conspiracy. Being a spiritual warrior in a world of illusion. Call Niranjan, the Lord of Time, the Gnostic Demiurge, the negative power, the god of death and illusion, said to Guru Kabir as he was about to incarnate to create the spiritual path in the physical plane. Long ago, Kal Niranjan said to Guru Kabir, "I will do something there so that nobody will believe in your teaching. I will create such karmas and illusions that nobody will find the way out. In every home I will create the ghost of illusion, and deceiving the souls I will make them forget. All humans will eat flesh and drink wine, and all kinds of flesh will be their favorites. Oh, brother, your devotion is difficult. Nobody will believe it. I'm telling you. That is why I say, don't go into the world now." Kabir said, "At that time I told Kal, I know your deceptions. I know your tricks. Making the souls firm in the true Shabda, I will enable them to remove your illusions. I will make them recognize all of your tricks. And by the strength of Nam, I will liberate the souls. Those who remember me in thought, word, and deed, focusing their attention on the formless, the elementless. Such souls will go to the immortal world, putting their feet on your head. Any brave and wise soul will finish your ego. And very happily that soul will be convinced of the true Shabda, the true word." Hearing this, Kal felt defeated and started to think of more deceptions. There are so many key points that turn up in this cosmic conspiracy described by the Anurag Sagar. It bears resemblance to reality. People really are always off-center, always distracted. Their attention is always being flooded by the world of the five senses and the drama of the culture. It never lets up. The souls remain distracted, always ever distracted. ever forgetful of the spiritual side of life. Most are not eligible for initiation because of their diet and their addictions. They are as if made not eligible for initiation as a result of the culture that has programmed them from birth. Heredity plays some role, but mostly environment. But Guru Kabir said that he would make souls aware of these deceptions and will introduce to them a positive power. Shabda or Nam, Shabad Nam, refers to the divine light and sound, the positive power, which overcomes karma and opens souls up to new horizons, other realms of consciousness beyond the world of the five senses. The role of the master is to liberate the souls, to cause them to remember in a world of forgetfulness, to awaken despite the fact that they find themselves captive jiva souls living in a world of slumber. They can be guided into refocusing their attention. They can find some solitude and silence and discover that they have the power to refocus their attention elsewhere and open themselves up to the spiritual realm, the formless, elementless realm. They have this capacity. Every soul does. It's built in. It's hidden inside every human being. That last verse, such souls will go to the immortal world, putting their feet on your head. That reminds me of a verse from the Gospel of Mark, actually. It's treading on serpents. It's like victory over the negative power. It very much reminds me of that verse from the New Testament. Kal Niranjan, the negative power, the false god, the Gnostic Demiurge, is here described in ways that could be interpreted as metaphor for ego, metaphor for the mind, with limited perceptions, making decisions based on not knowing the nature of reality, making misinformed choices, perceiving incorrectly. There's ego, there's mind, lack of perception, a kind of spiritual deafness and blindness. And that is the screen that we filter reality through. One might believe that the Kal Niranjan is a literal being somewhere in the cosmos, a kind of boss of Satan, if you will, Satan 2.0. Or you can believe that the Kal Niranjan is a kind of state. A more Buddhist kind of approach would be Kal represents a kind of state of lack of perception, not fully aware of the universes and realms beyond its realm. It's associated with ego. Mind is a kind of modem for cosmic mind, or Kal Niranjan. And so Kal is within. Kal is mind, which is a great servant, but makes for a bad master, as the saying goes. Meditation, of course, is about transcending mind, rising above mind, rising above the inner cosmos, and finding heavenly rest beyond. The Satguru does battle with Kal to free the souls. The genuine living master, the Sant Satguru, teaches his or her students through this internal struggle with the mind or ego, this labyrinth of self-sabotaging, limited belief systems of the negative power, so that the initiates may experience the divine light and sound within and follow the path back to God, described as the ocean of love. The external illusion of Kal, the Lord of Time or negative power. O Dharam Das, the soul, which is a part of God, has been imprisoned in this human body. This soul has fallen in love with mind, which is a negative power. And the soul has forgotten, there's that word again, forgotten its own home and supreme master, supreme being. Kal is very clever. He knows many methods to trap the souls. He deceives them and swallows them. Under the influence of Kal, the human being has forgotten his own identity. Kal has put him under illusion and entangled him in worldly pleasures. So he does all the bad deeds. Though he was given this human form to drink the nectar of Nam, instead he is drinking poison. Kal has entangled people in illusions to such an extent that they have totally forgotten their real home. Kal has woven such a net that now it is difficult to get released from it. These traps are rituals and rites, scripture reading and worship and performing oblations. These have nothing to do with realization of God. Kabir has said, if a person understands the tricks of Kal and realizes that mind is the real enemy, that after getting initiation, he can conquer the mind and come out of the cycle of transmigration and reincarnation. Illusion is like a deep well where there is all darkness. The mind, or Kal, throws the souls in that deep well and eats them up. The path of the masters is not anti-intellectual. It is using the word mind here quite frequently, but it's not about not valuing reason or intellect. But it is about transcending mind by way of a spiritual practice, a meditation practice. The mind is a great servant, but makes for a bad master. Internal illusion of Kal, lower Kal light. From the commentary of Baba Kehar Singh on the Anurag Sagar, a 3-volume set in Hindi as well as in English. When we collect the scattered thought and focus it behind the eyes at the third eye center, we first see a light called Saka Jot, which in Hindi means sweet or playful light, and could be viewed as deceptive or mischievous light. And then at that very place appears Jilmil Jyoti, or sparkling light. Showing these lights, Kal arrests the souls, the captive jivas, there. The third, Jagmag Jyoti, or the twinkling light, is in the 1,000-petaled lotus astral region. Only the saints see this light. This is above the eyes and below the Turya pod. This real higher light is known only to the Sants. Unquote. This is fascinating, describing internal Kal. When we first meditate with eyes closed in a darkened space, we may encounter some of these initial lower astral lights, sparkling light, shimmering candle flame type light. Those lower lights are considered within the realm of Kal, and we must not stop there. We must keep going and get to the higher light, described as coming from the 1,000-petaled lotus, which is a much higher aspect of the astral plane. And of course, the path of the masters has many lights, many visions, and different states of consciousness, planes, realms, lokas, or levels along the way. And so that is just scratching the surface, tip of the iceberg, only the beginning of the journey of divine light. So even within, there is described a kind of call light or lower light. We must not, like those meat Shabda paths I was talking about recently, just to see some light, we can't really declare victory and think of ourselves as enlightened, or hearing some semi-physical or lower astral hum or cricket sound, we can't declare victory and think that we're practicing Surat Shabd Yoga just with that initial sound. Initial lights and initial sounds should not be viewed as the end of the journey, but the very, very, very beginning of the journey within. Sant Dharam Das, oh my master, he says, during meditation some persons see Jil-Mil Jyoti, the flickering light. Which is that stage of meditation where this Jil-Mil Jyoti is visible? Kindly explain to me about that. Kindly tell me about the stage where the Jil-Mil Jyoti appears, as well as about the God who manifests there. Kabir says to Dharam Das, O Dharam Das, mind is the agent of Niranjan, or call, and performs in our body just like the primordial power, doing the work of Niranjan. Doing the work of Niranjan. This secret is revealed only through a master. Light at the region of the void is due to mind, and various doubts arising within are due to mind. Mind, created by Kal, rules over the three regions. It has full control over them. It is not under any other power. Only Nam, or word, can master it. Mind, created by Kal, rules over the three worlds. In reality, there is only one Nam, or word, or power, but due to the confusion created by mind, we recite various names during worship. Since we have not recognized or realized ourself, we are deceived. People worship various gods and goddesses to fulfill their wishes. But to come out of the cycle of transmigration, we require the help of Satnam, the true name, the true Nam, the true sound current of the positive power. Initiation and protection from above, following the path of the masters. Kabir said, if Nam, or word, given during initiation is manifested within, and the light emanating from it is seen, then all ignorance goes, and Kal cannot come near that soul, since the word manifested Guru is the master of the whole creation. Till one hears the unstruck sound or word within, Kal, in the form of a snake, does not leave the soul. Caught in the illusions, the soul has forgotten the real home. There's that word again, forgotten, forgetfulness. It is difficult to escape from the powerful Kal. Nam, or word, is the only power, the positive power, to control him. Just as a snake charmer controls a snake by reciting a mantra, similarly, the word given by the master can control Kal. Nam is the remedy for all ailments. Kabir Sahib has said, Kal cannot come near the power of the word. And Simran and Bhajan. If a person adopts a master and, having firm faith in him, gets himself initiated, does meditation with devotion, then he can become a Hansa, or pure soul, heavenly bird, heavenly soul. Such an attainment is priceless. His master, the personification of the word, will take him step by step to the thousand-petaled lotus, Trikudi, Daswandwar, Banwar Gufa, Sachkhand, and after a short stay to Alak, Parush, Agam Lok, and Anami Desh, which is the highest eternal region, the ultimate abode, called by some Radhasoami Desh, the abode of ultimate reality, the Lord of the soul, the ocean of love itself. O Dharam Das, if a person gives up all doubts, meditates regularly on Nam, imparted by the Master, and behaves in the manner the saints behave and follows in their footsteps, that is, he listens to the sound current within himself, then he can tread the path of the Sants in search of the highest truth. There is a sound current coming from the final abode and calling you home. So if you listen to that call, then you can ascend like the Sants. A reading from the Anurag Sagar commentary by Baba Kehar Singh, published by the Radhasoami Satsang Tarn, featuring quotes and commentary based on the Anurag Sagar, Kabir's Ocean of Love. Today's program is titled The Cosmic Conspiracy, Being a Spiritual Warrior in a World of Illusion. After the break, more of the teachings of the Anurag Sagar. More Spiritual Awakening Radio coming up. The Cosmic Conspiracy. Being a spiritual warrior in a world of illusion. Today on Spiritual Awakening Radio. Another installment in the Anurag Sagar Studies series. Every now and then you'll hear a program or a podcast devoted to this foundational text of Sant Mat called the Anurag Sagar. Kabir's Ocean of Love, India's Gnostic Gospel. Most of us don't choose our diet, don't choose our religion, don't choose our worldview, our belief system. We're not like our phone or a computer. There is no terms of service that we click yes to. No little box that appears with the word okay in it and we click okay. Heredity and environment. Heredity plays some role. Human beings tend to look away from themselves all the time. You know, when it comes to meditation, we really have to learn a good practice from a competent teacher and sit ourselves down and try really hard. It's almost fighting our own nature, our own mind, to begin meditation. We're built to lose ourselves, to be always looking away from ourselves, getting lost in creation, the world of the five senses. So heredity does have some obstacles to offer, but mostly the obstacle to the spiritual journey is in the realm of environment, learned behavior. Mystery Babylon, the culture. Down in Egypt, falling asleep, getting programmed, staying in the matrix, lost in the matrix. We don't really choose our diet. We don't really choose, most of us anyway. These things are just downloaded directly into our minds from a young age. And we think those customs, those beliefs, those practices, that diet is something we chose. But no, we never did. We think we are that, but we're not. But a few oddball mystic types question this reality and revisit the question of diet and religion, and might make deliberate choices that are contrary to the programming of the local culture, the local tribe, the local religion. Might choose from a different menu altogether. There's a wonderful note found in the book Love's Last Madness, some Urdu poems of Darshan Singh translated into English. Little note from one of those verses says, "Neither inherited beliefs nor those taken on hearsay can advance a seeker on the path of the divine." In his book of poetry, Sarbachan Radhasoami, Swamiji Maharaj once said, "After innumerable wanderings, the captive jiva soul got the noble human form. But alas, he is smitten here by the mind and senses. The Sant Satguru admonishes him again and again, and reveals the path of the 10th door. Radhasoami says, raise the attention faculty of your soul, your surat, to the gate of heaven." Back to the Anurag Sagar, the awakening of Sant Dharam Das. I remember now. I remember the coming of Kabir to earth from Satlok, the timeless, true, eternal realm, beyond the lower worlds of time. Kabir came to initiate Sant Dharam Das. Sat Purush, the true original being or supreme being, said, "Dharam Das, the soul, went but has not come back to the country of peace, Satlok. Dharam Das went into the ocean of the world and got trapped by Kal. He forgot. O Jnani, O Gnostic, O Kabir, go and awaken him, so that the path of liberation may continue. In the home of Dharam Das, my 42 essences will be incarnated. O Jnani, O Gnostic, O Kabir, go quickly and cut the snares of Dharam Das." Kabir said, bowing my head to him, I started. "And Dharam Das, now I have come for you. You are my very dear soul, about whom I have worried a lot. With the orders of Sat Purush, I came to you and made you remember the previous things. I gave you darshan, I gave you vision, only because of that. O Dharam Das, this time you recognized me. I will tell you Sat Purush's words, recognize the Shabda and have faith." Dharam Das fell at the feet of Kabir, and from his eyes the tears came. He grew very excited and said, "O Lord, you have finished the deception of my soul." Even after having all this explained to him, he could not calm down. He was like a mother who, after being separated from her child, is finally reunited. "I remember now," says Dharam Das. The awakening of Dharam Das. Now, this passage from the Anurag Sagar also alludes to a plan, that there are these 42 essences, 42 incarnations, 42 future masters in the lineage of Dharam Das that will eventually be set up during this Kali Yuga age. And through these masters, the souls will be liberated, and the path of Kabir will be propagated in the world. We'll talk more about the 42 incarnations a bit later on. But there is a plan at work here, and it all starts with the awakening of Dharam Das, who said, "I remember now." An awakening has occurred. Dharam Das has come back to himself once again. You're hearing Spiritual Awakening Radio. More coming up after this break. Being a spiritual warrior in a world of illusion. The profile of a true spiritual seeker and spiritual warrior. This reading comes from one of my favorite books, The Padavali of Sant Namdev. He alone is the adept, the holy, and the Gnostic who is in rapport with God. Says Namdev, he alone has obtained peace, in whom God's name has taken abode. God's name will take you across this ocean of samsara, this world of changes. Why work yourself to death for the falsehood of Maya and illusion? This is from Kabir. When a brave knight takes to the field, a host of cowards is put to flight. It is a hard fight and a weary one, this fight of the truth seeker. For the vow of the truth seeker is more difficult than that of the warrior, or of the widowed wife who would follow her husband. For the warrior fights for a few hours, and the widow's struggle with death is soon ended. But the truth seeker's battle goes on, day and night, as long as life lasts. It never ceases, says Kabir. Kabir says the light of one soul is equal to that of 16 suns. I'm into astronomy. During the earliest stage of a newly formed sun in a newly formed solar system, the light of that new star is completely obscured by the dirt, dust, and debris that surrounds it. Eventually, that dirt, dust, and debris will settle into asteroids and planets, dwarf planets, comets, other objects too. But at first, the light of that new star is completely blocked by all of the dust and debris that surrounds it. Kabir is saying the human condition is like that. Inside is the hidden soul, and its brightness is equivalent to that of 16 suns. We are gods clothed in rags, believing in the rags. It says in the Anurag Sagar, after meeting the Satguru, one understands the play of Shabda and Surat. It is the union of the drop and the ocean. O Dharam Das, if a person gives up all doubts, meditates regularly on Nam imparted by the Master, and behaves in a manner the saints behave and recommend, and follows in their footsteps, that is, he listens to the sound current within himself, then he can tread the path of the saints in search of the highest truth. There is a sound current coming from the final abode and calling you home. So if you listen to that call, then you can ascend like saints. This is a boundless hemisphere, unfathomable and endless. Rarely, through proper technique, can somebody cross it. It is known only to the connoisseur Satguru, and to those to whom he reveals it. Gems, diamonds, and all light are shown to him close by. It is only an intoxicated devotee, a lover of a saint, who will practice such a discipline of the sound current, says Darya Sahib of Bihar. Back to the Anurag Sagar. Only the connoisseur who will test the Shabda and listen to the teachings with full attention, and within whom these teachings will dwell, only he will understand this. He within whom the sun of knowledge will manifest and remove the darkness of attachment. Only he will understand this. I am telling you this, Anurag Sagar, this ocean of love. Only rare saints will understand. By speaking the Anurag Sagar Granth, I have explained to you the secret of the inaccessible. I have described the drama of Sat Purush and the deception of Kal. Only the connoisseurs will understand the ways of living and the word of discrimination. One who will accept the word after testing it will know the path to the inaccessible, the union of the Surat soul and the Shabda. When one gets Shabda, he reaches the realm of the saints. It is the play of the drop and the ocean. What else can one say? After meeting the Satguru, one understands the play of Shabda and Surat. It is the union of the drop and the ocean. What else can one say? The Anurag Sagar presents a Manichaean struggle between the negative power of time and the positive power of the timeless Supreme Being. The battlefield is within. The jihad or struggle is within. It's not on the outside, feuding with one's neighbors in some angry tribal patriarchy, putting a fatwa out on someone. That gets old after a few centuries. Rather, the struggle is within. The spiritual warrior prevails in this world of illusion by doing their meditation practice each day, by repeating God's name with love, contemplating the divine light within, and hearing the sound of the Nam, the Shabd, the audible life stream. That is how they prevail in this struggle. They focus all of their attention, the attention faculty of the soul, upon the positive power, and bathe in that positive power. Here and now, today, each and every day. That is the definition of a spiritual warrior. Every day practicing their meditation, Surat Shabd Yoga. That is the union of the drop and the ocean. The soul is the drop, and the ocean of love is the Supreme Being. More spiritual awakening coming up. Stay tuned. A great summary of the spiritual journey according to Kabir. The body is a forest of blooming flowers, but only the wise can pluck them. How does one attain to this wisdom? First, go to the perfect teacher and learn from him the inner teachings. Contemplate on the words of the Sant and strengthen your faith day by day. Second, cast all your doubts away and shun the perception of duality. See the one dwelling inside and outside. Achieve this and you're a saint. Third, rise above outer attributes and take a seat at the third eye. This is verily the throne where you hear the divine melody. Fourth, rein in the restless mind and abandon all your cleverness. Swing on the swing of love divine and entreat the teacher for the gift of devotion, bhakti. Fifth, acquaint yourself with the eternal elements and exert mastery over the senses. Sixth, let consciousness pierce the 6 chakras, and reaching above them, see the light. Make perfect the left and right nerve currents, and dwell in the cave of the void. Seventh, let truth enlighten your life, and behold the Supreme Spirit in you. Grab hold of the silken thread of realization, and climb to the eternal abode. Eighth, let the consciousness bloom, and render your heart resplendent. When in your soul you see the eternal, you're fit to be called a saint. Ninth, your portals of perception will open. When you make an ally of the perfect master, you will see that the soul is not the body, when the master shows the soul's unity with God. 10th, you will reach the door of perception, where the divine melody resounds. Says Kabir, listen to me, my friends. Only a rare one will consider my teaching. From the Anurag Sagar, India's Gnostic Gospel, the Ocean of Love. Just as the lotus blooms after getting the light of the sun, in the same way the sufferings of the souls from ages and ages and ages are finished after having a vision or darshan of Sat Purush, the true eternal timeless being, God. Sat Purush is happy to see us. All are from the one. Sat Purush is the parent of all souls. It says in the Anurag Sagar, when Sat Purush lived in latent form, he had not created the body and matter. As oil is hidden in the lotus, in the same way Sat Purush used to live hidden. In his will, he created the souls, and looking at them, he felt very happy. The souls will come running to their home, as is the nature of baby turtles. The messengers of Yama, the messengers of death, will look at them, and becoming weak, they will not go near them. Becoming fearless, the heavenly souls will go, reciting the Satnam, the true name. The souls will reunite with their family, and all the messengers of death will stand there helplessly. The abode of happiness, where the souls will live happily, is precious, and all the souls, looking at the radiance of Sat Purush's form, will become happy. A reading from the Anurag Sagar, a kind of homecoming, a full circle. The one became many drops from the ocean of love, and after a time of separation, those drops merge back into the ocean of love again. Thanks for joining me today for Spiritual Awakening Radio. Today's program, The Cosmic Conspiracy. It really does seem that way, doesn't it? These Gnostic descriptions of the way things are bears a striking resemblance to reality. Souls distracted in a culture based on the 5 senses, and religions that are very Kabbalistic indeed. Lots of distractions here, lots of programming against going within. The Valentinian Gnostics described humanity as being in three basic categories: the Hylics, or materialists, or atheists; those who are the psychic, or given to some religious affiliation, but it's limited, it only goes so far. And then there are the pneumatics, the spirituals, the spiritual off-worlders, the mystic explorers who want to experience that heaven here and now, not just in the future, in the next life, in the next dispensation or aeon, or after a second coming at the end of time, but right now, here today, through contemplative meditation practice. That bears resemblance to reality. I know people in all of those categories. It seems very much a real appraisal, a real evaluation, this Gnostic description of humanity and this cosmic conspiracy between the positive power and that of the Kal Niranjan. To contact me, to say hello, send me an email at this address, james@spiritualawakeningradio.com, or send a text to this number, 508-603-9381. Visit my website, spiritualawakeningradio.com. At my website is a donate button and buttons to Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, blogs, various sites where you can listen to podcasts, where you can read daily spiritual quotes. You can find all of those things at the website, spiritualawakeningradio.com. Tune in again next week at the same time for another edition of Spiritual Awakening Radio.